Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Tuesday topic here on Patreon. We've had a video from Tony.
Alright boys, Tony from Llandudno, North Wales, looking out for the Seagulls. Question for Tuesday topic. 2 years mismanagement, and the rest. Where are we now in regards to our project, and where are we going to be in 5 years' time? What's the goal? Cheers, boys.
Yes, Tony, you watch those Seagulls, mate. They're not coming on the ark.
No, they're dangerous.
But they can fly, can't they? So, I mean, they can do what they want.
How far can they fly?
I don't know. We'll wait and see.
If they want to rest, we'll just be knocking them off.
Question for another day. Thing is, though, if you don't let them in, will these be like dive bombing to get the food and stuff?
So what we just allow?
Might have to make an agreement with them.
No.
Okay.
Not allowing bullying. Doesn't happen.
We'll save that for another day.
We will.
Where are we? What's the master plan? These are the questions. I don't know. Is the answer to no? Listen. Obviously, the first thing Tony said there was about 2 years of mismanagement, and I think that's a big thing, isn't it? Because as much as everybody wants us to be doing amazing things and buying amazing players and being in for all these young prospects that we're linked with and all these exciting talents, the real sort of crux of the issue at the moment for me, I think personally, is that we are trying to get, as we've mentioned a lot of times, a lot of dead wood off the books. 2 years of mismanagement, one real big summer of mismanagement, has left us in a place where we can't go forward till we fully address that situation. And unfortunately, it's going to hamper us, and it's going to hamper us probably for this summer and probably next summer, till all of that bad stuff is literally washed away, and all those players are not on the ark, on Everton's ark. So that's like, you get a ball of wires, like a big wire, and you're trying to untangle it all. That's what Marcel Brands is doing right now. He's trying to untangle all those wires. And it's going to take him a while to do. And hopefully when he does it, we'll be in a much healthier place. But that's not an overnight thing, is it?
No, it isn't. We have had mismanagement, of course. We have, we got the money from Farhad Moshiri. We were all excited, and it was mistakes by him.
Definitely.
In appointing Ronald Koeman and Steve Walsh at the time, or how it played out. And then mistakes by those two once they had the keys to the kingdom. The second summer, as exciting as it was, we were bringing players in every other week. It was with no plan, no idea. And we did bring in some good players, it'd be stupid to sit here and go, it was all terrible, because we've got the likes of Michael Keane, who's been very good, and Jordan Pickford with them, and we had Garner, so they got a few of them right. Gylfi Sigurdsson, but they got a hell of a lot wrong, and I've saddled us with stuff. But, like I keep saying, for me, in terms of the project and everything else, the reset button was pressed last summer.
Yeah.
For me. Got rid of Allardyce. Elstone went. We got a new board. Marcel Brands come in. Marco Silva come in. And from then, the plan has seemed, I think, quite clear of what we want to do. Yes, there's restraints and constraints in terms of what we can do. But in all truth, a lot of those will be there regardless of because of... Until, the reality is, until we can finish higher up in the league, or win a cup, or go far in trophies, or attract boss sponsors, we're never going to be able to spend the money that we possibly could do.
I think we're almost getting to the stage where it's, a lot of things are starting to pay off, but we're not there yet. So and this is obviously, this week's a big week. Obviously, We're going to get to see the stadium pictures on Friday or earlier.
Fans will be seeing it Thursday.
Yeah, some fans will be seeing it
We'll be
Thursday.
it.
So it feels like a lot's coming together, but it's just not coming together fast enough.
No.
And all the debt that stadium is incurring at the moment is on the club. It can't be put into a separate side thing until the club is, it becomes a thing of its own. Till it is a thing of its own. Till someone says, yes, you can build that, and then it becomes its own thing. Then it becomes its own project, and its own money. And Everton don't have the burden as such. Even though it's their stadium, they don't have the burden as such. They can go to someone and say, lend that money, whatever that is, and then that goes into a side place, and that doesn't affect as such the club. It will, but at the moment we're saddled with that money as well. So all that money comes from the coffers. It all adds up. We all have to, as you just mentioned there, we have to find other ways, and we're not there yet. It just doesn't matter what anyone says. The gulf between us and the top six in terms of marketing and money we bring in is the gap's huge. It's absolutely huge, and it's getting bigger because as those six are seen as an individual property, they are going on these tours, and Liverpool and Arsenal are in America. Chelsea and Tottenham are in the Far East, as our City. Man United are in Australia, and I'm sure they'll be going other places as well, and they're just generating money and more money, and people are paying them to go there, and we're not, and I don't want to get into that. I'm just saying, but that's where we are, and when you're there, you attract sponsors, and even with Newcastle and Wolves playing in that Asia Cup, Newcastle wore a Chinese sponsor, and all these little things that help. We're not in there at the moment, so we're not creating money yet, like you just said, until we get something that is almost something like you can attach it to. That would be either a trophy playing in the Champions League or having a stadium to generate the money, and we're not in those three things yet. And hopefully one of those things will come soon, the stadium. And once we get that stadium, then you want, obviously, those are the things to come first. But once we get that, hopefully it'll all start creating this painting this picture that we want to see. But we're not there yet, and I know it's frustrating, and it is frustrating. But I think for someone like Farhad Moshiri, it was all about, and it is all about getting that stadium built. That's the thing for years that's been holding us back, not having a stadium. I think we had conversations when we, probably in the early days of this, when we were talking about, getting bought out, and I think both of us were very, very much in the similar mindset as that. We weren't really bothered about having someone with loads and loads and loads of money that was going to bankroll us. We wanted someone to just build us a stadium, because we felt like that was enough. If we had a stadium, we'd be able to go on and help. If we had our own stadium, we were savvy off the pitch, we'd be all right, we'd do all right. That mightn't be the case now, but at the end of the day, does it really matter? Because Man City can spend whatever they want, so no one can compete with them. It doesn't really matter. So for me, I just think we're at the cusp now, aren't we? And I think in if you're talking about 5 years, for me, where will we be in 5 years? Well, I just hope we're in a new stadium in 5 years. I can't really predict anything else, because it's impossible, isn't it? Football can move so fast, and there's so many moving parts and things that are out of your control and things that are in your control. But I just hope in 5 years we have a stadium, and then I feel like once we've got a stadium, we'll be on equal footing to the teams around us, at least. Because I don't think at the moment, I think Leicester and even Wolves can generate their own money better than we can because of the stadium.
I don't know their figures. I don't know whether they can or they can't. Maybe they can. Wolves are trying to extend their stadium, so that's what they're looking at. It's difficult because you are trying to almost predict the future. The ground is something we can nail our colours to. We'll know more in a couple of days, obviously. And then I think the excitement level of that will crank up, because people will have something visual then in their heads instead of just trying to guess it and what have you. I think, but Everton, I think the danger with that is that you then start looking at that as to be the turning point when there's still 4 years till we're going to be in there. For me, 2023, August 2023, we'll be in and kicking off there. So it's important in those 4 years that we progress as a club, so that we've got a team fit enough to play in there and competitive enough. We've seen Leicester bridge a gap and win the league. Okay, that happened very briefly. They won the league, and other teams that took their eye off the ball, maybe, whatever. It was Pep's first season and everything else. But we've seen our neighbours build a team over a period of time to get to within a point of winning the title by being smart.
Yeah.
Okay, they generate more money than us, but by the same token, when you look at the players they've bought, the prices, okay, we probably couldn't spend 75 million on one player, but then again, if you got to the stage where it was one player you needed, then we would. So the way I look at it now, I almost look past all of that. I look past the sponsorships they can bring in, because it's about building a team first and foremost. Evertonians will get behind something. We know he's just been on a bleeding coach for 3 days to watch a friendly. So Evertonians want this team to do well. They want our club to do well. And if we get behind this manager and Marcel Brands and allow them to build and form this team, then we could be gate crashing. Just because someone's got more money. Chelsea have had more money than teams for years. Man United, the biggest club in the world, with tons of money, and won the league for years. So you can circumvent those top teams with that money. It's about being smart and building it, and it's about incremental improvements. It's not. I don't think Everton can jump 4 steps ahead, but for me, when I look at these, like this year, for argument's sake, if there's a few weeks to go in the transfer market, if we get the right players to complement what we've got, there's no reason why we can't continue our improvements, and that's all we can do. All we can do. Spurs have done it, haven't they? Spurs have done it a very different way. People will. I know you're ready to say something, but they're saying Spurs. You look at Tottenham. Oh, okay, they've got the ground now, but they've been in the top 4 for years and fought the way in. And built on something and got a good manager and put something together. And because of their consistency, it's allowed them to take over the likes of Man United. They've got way more money than them. Chelsea.
I think Liverpool and Tottenham have shown you need a plan. I don't think Chelsea have had a plan, and I don't think Arsenal have had a plan.
I don't think United have had a plan.
And United certainly haven't had a plan. Chelsea, I think now are starting to figure out that it might be worth just taking a couple of steps back, and I think that's what they've done by bringing Frank Lampard in. I think what a stadium does, and I think Liverpool people, the new standards really help them.
Oh, yeah.
I think because what it does is it's almost like having a stadium or having a stand or whatever. It's a way of funneling your money for FFP, isn't it? It's a way of generating the money that allows you to get round FFP, because it's interesting, clubs. It's all right having lots of money, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can do things with that. It's like City are an interesting club because they don't tend to overpay for anybody, because they're obviously very conscious that FFP is a big thing, and I know there's a lot of talk of them they've got round FFP, but even if they've got round FFP, they'll have had to have worked hard to make those numbers work.
Manchester City, I'm quite sure, if there was no rules, could spend £1 billion in this transfer window easily, couldn't he? They could go and go, we'll have Messi and we'll have Neymar. There you go, cheers. Quite easily with the money and the wealth they've got, but they can't do it anymore. So, all right, the level's above anyway. But at the end of the day, it's 11v11. You have to build something that can match almost what they do, and there's different ways to do it. And Spurs are the case in point, aren't they? And Liverpool have done very well. Yes, they've spent money, but they've also recouped a hell of a lot of money as well. And I guess this is where we're trying to get to now. When Tony's talking about the mismanagement, I guess he's talking about buying Davy Klaassen for 25 million and selling him for 13 a year later. That's 11 million quid just gone down the drain like that. Sandro Ramirez, okay, we paid 5 million quid. We're not going to get that back. Yannick Bolasie, we paid £25 million for. We'd be lucky if we got double figures for him. back as well as his wages. So it's that kind of shit. But if you're buying Richarlison for £50 million, even though he wasn't 50 million, 40 million, say, if he achieves everything he can, and if he does, we'll be buzzing. But if it got to 40 million and then you sell him for 90 or 100 million, that is how you do it. That's certainly what they've done. But the better level your player is, you're trying to make profits on every one of them. So you're not left with people who you're going, bought Cenk Tosun for 25 million. What will we get for him? 10 off Palace. It should be, we've bought X for 30 million. Well, we'll get 60 for him if we sell him. So it's not a problem. Or we've bought him for 30. He's only on our bench. We can get our money back easily. 30, 35. But we've not lost anything. That's where we have to get. At the moment, there's too many. We paid that for him. We're going to get nowhere near. Let's just get him out the door. And the more or the less and less we have of them, the better. That's certainly what Liverpool done. Jose Enrique, was on their books for years. They didn't want him. There's been loads of them players. They've only just got rid of Moreno. They're trying to get rid of him for 3 years. He's walked out the door for nothing. They've had the similar situation with players where they got them with big money because you wanted to get them, and then you couldn't get rid of them, and it was like, who's going to take them? Because sometimes managers just go, he's decent and get him in, but to get him in, we have to give him a big
and don't forget as well, I mean, some of our players, like the money we've wasted on managers as well. I mean, that's a big thing as well. The money we spent on Allardyce's team, the money we spent on Koeman, paying off don't forget we have to pay off Martinez, that huge figure to pay him off because he's been given that stupid contract. These are things that add to it as well. So, and then the manager looks at it, the owner looks at it and says, hang on, not only have I just spent money on all those players, I've also spent on all those managers. He's brought brands in to be a little bit more, look at the situation and be a bit more cautious and say, well, where do we not need to spend money? Where do we not need to spend money? Or how about, brands is trying to change things around and change systems around, and he's going, well, hang on, I'm not spending that money till I see that system working in place because we don't know how it's going to go. So I think Father Macheri's now been a lot more cautious. I think he's took bad advice and he just wants things to play out a little bit differently before he starts throwing money at it again. Because I
think that's right though.
Yeah, well, it is, isn't it?
What I would say to you though is, and this is what I try to say to a couple of people on Twitter as well, who are very negative, is that there's no point in getting so far down a track though, and then going, I'm not spending anymore. Randy Lerner done that at Villa, and it was nightmare. He got so far down putting the money in, and then just went, no more money. And it went the other way then.
And that's where I think that the Brands situation is key, because I think if Brands turns round to Moshiri and says, I think there's a player here who's worth it. He's worth that little bit of extra money. And like you said before, we can't lose out. We cannot lose out. I will bet you, like any business, I will bet you that we will double our investments in this player if we bring him in. And I'm sure that's where, and you're absolutely right, when people say, well, the books don't work, there aren't books in football when you've got a rich owner who, if he decides he wants to put money into the club, will put money into the club. He will find a way, and the club will find a way to get round it. And even if there's a punishment from FF, you deal with that later, and then you fight that if you have to. And that's there's rumours of kids out there, that we're trying to buy and all the rest of it. I think if Marcel Brands just said, you cannot lose money on this player, but like you said before, we've been buying players where you can lose money on them. It's up to Marcel Brands to say, I've watched them, I've had my best men watch him, and you cannot lose money on this player. He's 18, 19, 20. The worst comes to the worst. You'll only make your money back on him, but you will not lose out on this player. And I think that's where we are at the moment. But I don't think there's enough of those players. I don't think there's enough of those players who want to sign for Everton right now. So we have to just go. I mean, and it's funny because you talked about Tottenham and Spurs before. They've done it very differently. Tottenham got a good team together, a good squad together, and said, this is what we're going to go with. A couple of additions here and there over 2-3 years, but this is what we're going to go with. Liverpool have done it differently and have sold the likes of Coutinho to help that development and said, well, where we don't need a player, we'll sell him and go and get this other player that we do need, either Van Dijk or a centre-back. And no one's laughing at sell to buy when it wins your European Cup. No one's sitting there going, but you sold Coutinho. Yeah, but we took that money and went and bought a goalkeeper. And now the best centre-back in the world. And that's what we needed. We didn't need that creativity in midfield, and they're two very different ways. But both of them have been done in a way that hasn't gone through the roof, spending money. I mean, Liverpool fans and Liverpool net spend. But you know, they're not wrong in terms of selling a player like Coutinho and bringing in what you need. And again, it's being smart, isn't it? It's just being smart and saying, if you don't need something, but you do need something else, you know, then you make that decision, and you have to, you know, there might be times where fans will turn around and go, this is where we could have done with so and so, and you go, well, yeah, but if 8 times out of 10 we didn't need that player, and the players we've got, you know, or the players we bought, keeper made a great save, or one of the defenders put a brilliant block in. You know, if your clean sheets suddenly go astronomically through the roof, and you've been not winning trophies because you can't keep clean sheets, then yeah, that's the way you got to look at it, isn't it? So I think good business, good business sense, good business practice, getting into good habits of how you do business. And things take time, and hopefully when we're going into the new stadium, we are in the right place with a good team, ready to attack.
Kick on.
Yeah.
It does, but like I said before, it doesn't mean we have to put everything on hold till we get there, because it's about building and building and building, and you can do that. And football clubs spend money every summer. Everton will spend money every summer. It's the way it is. It's the law of the land. But the key is, and if it means selling a player every 3 years and making a profit on them to help your team build, there's nothing wrong with that. That's really, realistically speaking, it's probably how football should be. It's how a business should be. Your business should aim to make money, so that when you need that kind of play, you have that freedom. At the moment, we're trying to catch up, but there's many different ways to do it. And you can only say where we are in the project is we're probably behind where Farhad Moshiri thought we were. We're certainly behind where we thought as fans. 3 years ago, you'd have said in 3 years' time we'll be in the top 4. You would have. We all did. We were all excited with the money. We're not there.
No,
we're not there, and we're arguably no closer to being there. Well, we are, because when he took over, we just finished 11th 2 years on the run. So we're back in. We've been back in the top 8, 7 since then. So we are a little bit better. But what I would say is we've got much better players now than we've had. We've got a much better structure.
Stability.
Than what we've had. We've got the stability, and now it's about kicking on. And if we continue and we trust Marcel Brands to do his job, and we trust Marco Silva to do his job, and we give them what they need and what they're looking for, which they will. Marcel Brands is there for a reason. Marcel Brands is in the middle going to Farhad Moshiri. We need him, and I'm trying to do them deals. So this money, and he's going, okay. But we also need to sell them.
And what I would say is, listen, when you have been on a bus for 20 odd hours to go and watch your team play in a friendly, and in the middle of nowhere in Switzerland, and you get there and you see that Farhad Moshiri's there, and Marcel Brands is there, and Sasha Razinci's there, and you see those people there, and you go, these are actually taking it seriously.
Yeah,
these people are taking. No, you know what I mean. No, these are taking it seriously.
Well, they were there. They've been there for a reason, and they were there for a reason. They weren't sat at home going, Everton are sound. Me club sound, but I'm going. And when you see the people he've got with him, you realise that he's serious. You know, you don't mess with them. But you're right. You're there. You've got Sasha Ryancev. You've got Farhad Moshiri there. Marcel Brands. This is for a friendly against Monaco.
Exactly. Club secretary's there as well,
and they're doing the stuff. So, you know, things are moving. He wants to drive this bus. He's not just holding it until it gets to a stadium like Mike Ashley. He's going, I want to get there, and we're going to get there. And enough people asked him questions the other day, and he was like, we have to win, we want players. So for him, he wants the project. But the way I look at it, Tony, to sort of answer your question in a massively roundabout way, for me, the 2 years of mismanagement which you talk about, I've drawn a line under it. The club can't, because it's still paying the price for it. But me personally, we are 1 year into a plan with a proper structure. So that's where I'm looking at it. So now I'm looking at year 2 now of this plan. And in year 2 in this plan, we go like that and we improve again. That's how I'm looking at it. I mean, you might have a slightly different view, but that's where I am at the moment. I'm just like, right, I'm trusting them. They brought in some cracking players last year. We had a great 10 weeks at the end of the season. Okay, a couple of blips, but we were bossing games against the so-called top 6 teams. Everton haven't done nothing, not sustained. We've had the one, and then it's been a couple of years and we've beaten another one. This was week after week.
No. Listen, big season to see whether they can do that again and have that kind of impact. But listen, there's 3 weeks till the transfer window shuts, and we need to get a few in, a few out, and that's the way it is. It's but they're on it. That's what I'm saying. From them seeing them in over there, they're on it. No one's sitting there going, "Oh, I'm doing this here, I'm in a comfy office." They're in there, they're with the team, and they're trying to get it boxed off. And hopefully short term and long term, we're in the right place.
Or moving towards it anyway.
So big thanks for your question. So keep an eye on those seagulls. They are utter bastards. They are in London though. So safe.
They are everywhere. They were in Dover the other day.
They were.
And Calais.
Safe trip to you. Anywhere you go in London now.
Yes. Just always be watching.
Always,
literally like a meerkat.
Yeah. Or take a hawk with you. Walk around though with those big leather gloves when you have the hawk on.
Just the hawk. Yeah.
Invest in one of them.
There,
not a chance.
Seagull swear.
That could be the future.
Be a lot of hawks then, wouldn't it?
And then they have an uprising. All controlled
Nice one, Tom.
by the Dolphins.
There you go.
There you go. Thanks for your question. Don't forget you can get your question in. Get in touch with us. WeTransfer.com to ToffeeTV1@gmail.com or through WhatsApp. The number's always on. Patreon. So there you go. Thanks for watching. See you later.